Filmed live in Canada, it's Jim's Record Party. Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to part 2. Jazz duos here on Jim's Record Party. I'm your host, James. It's so nice to have you with us today. So nice to have you with us again as we look at jazz duos. And here is a classic of the genre, 1972, August 4th. The Playboy Club in New York City. It's Jim Hall and Ron Carter alone together. This is on Milestone. This is produced by the one of the co-founders, Dick Katz. He himself was a jazz pianist. Very nice sounding, quite cozy sounding, but it's also some exuberant playing. Jim Hall, of course, beautiful, warm sound, beautiful chord voicings, his harmonic sense, his melodic sense. Yeah, often thought of as a bookend to Mr. Bill Evans, who we just looked at, in the previous episode. And the master of the upright bass, Ron Carter, here accompanying. It's really an equal footing. All these albums are equal footing duos that we've looked at and that we will look at. St. Thomas, Alone Together. The original tune by Ron Carter, Receipt Please. Very nice tune. I did not know that tune. Softly as in a Morning Sunrise, open side 2. Who's Blues? That's Jim Hall's tune for this album. Prelude to a Kiss. Of course, we know that from the Duke Ellington. And Autumn Leaves. This is a beautiful, cozy, as I say, well-knit album. You can tune the lights down a bit for this one. It's not necessarily a romantic, but it's not anti-romantic either. Yeah, very nice. Alone Together, Jim Hall, Ron Carter on Milestone. Our second album today is something a little different. We didn't really look at anything outside, did we? Anything free on part 1, but today we will. Dave Holland, Sam Rivers, here on Improvising Artists Inc. label, a label co-founded by the great Canadian pianist Paul Bley and his partner Carol Goss. And she is the artistic director and artwork and photographer as well. Beautiful picture on the back of Dave Holland on the right, holding his bass. Sam Rivers on the left. I believe they're probably discussing a chord progression situation. They just want to be sure they're on the same page. Yeah, very nice album here. It is free. There's no tonal center, no time. There's one tune per side. They're both by Mr. Sam Rivers, a great tenor saxophone player, a great soprano saxophone player, as we hear on side 1. And oh, by the way, isn't this half of the great Conference of the Birds quartet of Mr. Dave Holland's? Yes, it is. Only Mr. Anthony Braxton and Mr. Barry Altschul are missing. They're probably off doing their own duet album. I wonder if they did. This, I discovered, is actually the first of 2 by Dave and Sam, or Sam and Dave. You know, I just realized actually. Yes, here they are. There is a second album. I've never seen it. I've seen a picture of it only now. So this is the first album. Side 1, Waterfall. Sam plays soprano, strictly, 17 minutes. This is an extremely busy, motion-filled tune by both men. It is a waterfall, there's no question about it. And then out of the blue, out of the water, out of the mist, about 15 minutes into 17 minutes, it resolves itself into the most lovely major key song. completely unexpected and completely lovely. Side 2, the song Cascade, Sam plays tenor. Really the horn that we, I think, consider to be his number 1. This is a master class in tenor playing, ladies and gentlemen, free or otherwise. There are what I would describe as islands of sound within this sidelong piece, 21 minutes, of multi-tone, overblowing, keypad fluttering, breath control that is, yeah, it's masterful from Mr. Sam Rivers. And no less playing by Dave Holland. I wonder if they devoted the second album to songs of his. I will have to research that. This is a lovely album, a free album, and outside, I would say it's free, a little more free than outside. Once these tunes start, they pretty much continue a pace. They're not trying to shock you with great harmonic explosions and jumps and mind benders. No. It's mostly energy and motion. And then, as I say, these other minutes of music, both men's. Dave Holland playing a lot of arco on this album as well, beautifully, of course. Yeah, this is a great album. Dave Holland, Sam Rivers here on the Improvising Artists Inc. label, ladies and gentlemen, on Jim's Record Party. Our penultimate album today, I'm going to feature George Shearing with Don Thompson. Yeah, didn't we just look at him in part 1, playing bass with the great Canadian guitarist Ed Bickert. Well, here he is playing bass with the great English pianist, the great world pianist, let's say, Sir George Shearing, live at the Cafe Carlyle in Manhattan, New York City. This is January 1984 on the Concord label, and we discover on the in the liner notes that Mr. Shearing prefers Baldwin pianos. Thank you very much. Indeed. Pent Up House, what a lovely tune to start off. Just jumps right off the disc. George Shearing's right hand is a marvel of facility, of lightness, of control. What a beautiful player. Shadow of Your Smile, Cheryl, a Charlie Parker tune. Don Thompson, of course, adding bass here like the master that he is. Blues for Breakfast, George does a vocal tune. Melancholy tune, yeah, Blues for Breakfast. Some of us have had that. Yeah, not a dish you want twice. The real tune on this album is on side 2, it's track 2. It's the classic I Cover the Waterfront. And this is a piano extravaganza by one man, by Mr. Sir George Shearing. There's enough piano playing to feel that they are both playing, and Don Thompson is credited with playing piano on this album. In fact, he plays on the next 3 tunes to this tune. Mr. Shearing plays just unbelievable sonorities, phrases, hand and finger stretches. It's a technical show. If you're a pianist, you can appreciate it, but you don't have to know what a piano is to appreciate the music that this man is making. You don't have to have ever heard I Cover the Waterfront before, let alone the 1,000 times that some of us have probably heard that tune. What a masterful take on this tune. And he ends up with a Claude Debussy nod to close the tune. Just stunning, ladies and gentlemen. Then, as I say, the next 3 tunes, Tell Me a Bedtime Story, great Herbie Hancock tune, of course. Beautiful, beautiful ballad, beautiful, beautiful modal tune. Inside, a beautiful bossa ballad, and Stratford Stomp, written for our own Stratford, Ontario, by Don Thompson himself. This is a surprising album. This is a fantastic album. You've heard me use that word again. We're not through with it. We will use it again and again and again. And here's an album that deserves it, ladies and gentlemen. The 1984 George Shearing with Don Thompson live at the Cafe Carlisle on Concord. Brings us to our final choice here on Jim's Record Party. Today I'm your host, as always, James. So nice to have you with us. It's Tuck and Patty, Tears of Joy on Windham Hill. From 1988. This is the most recent album that we have looked at this go round with our two-part jazz duos here on Jim's Record Party. Ms. Patty Cathcart and Mr. Tuck Andres are, I believe, partners in life as well as in music. I believe this was their first album. They self-produced it. It's a digitally recorded album. Tuck is playing acoustic, but it's run through the digital processor. It's very clean, natural sound. I don't mean to suggest that he's got a lot of effects pedals running. He does not. Patty Cathcart, what a tremendous vocalist. Here they are on the back cover, ladies and gentlemen. I would characterize her as a contralto, I believe, mostly. Beautiful tone and texture, the soulfulness, the reading of lyrics. These words mean something to her when she's singing. She's not just reading them off a page, drawing them from memory. These words mean something within the tune to her, and she expresses that in her singing. What a lovely album that really caught my ear with the Wendy Waldman tune, Mad, Mad Me. Just dropped me to my knees when I heard that tune. The eponymous title tune, Tears of Joy, and also I'll point out the great Cyndi Lauper tune, Time After Time, gets a take on this album as well, and also gets a take on a certain Miles Davis album. This was a tune that was well served by the jazz community, and there are probably other takes as well. Produced by Don Atkinson, engineered by Tuck and Patty themselves, and produced by really the three of them, I would say, and recorded at Binky Studios, which I wouldn't wonder if it's in their home somewhere in Menlo Park, California. It's a tremendous, beautiful sounding, clean album. Look this up. Add this to your collection, ladies and gentlemen. Tuck and Patty, Tears of Joy. Well, that brings us to the end of another side of Jim's Record Party. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been so nice to have you with us again. I'm your host, James, as always. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed this two-part series on jazz duos. Please join us again next week at the same time on this same station as we look at more great albums here on Jim's Record Party.